coach offensively. Just for today, what did you see today offensively?
Well, you know, it was a tale of two halves a little bit. You know, we came out strong. Obviously, in the first drive, Blue, you know, used some creativity. Blue group got down there and scored right away. And I think there was a little bit, you know, mentality on the sideline, like, oh, we're good, you know, and we can't have that mentality. We got to keep the pedal to the metal. And we were able to go down and get in there at halftime. You know, after a few slow, you know, drives, the energy lacked a little bit, and we really didn't have a ton of at-bats in the first half. So coming out in the second half, I thought both groups responded well, and there were some good things to take from it. You know, we found out some playmakers. Obviously, Shane Williams-Rhodes had quite a day. That dude can play, and you see that more when you're playing live football than you do in just a normal, you know, spring practice situation. So, you know, quarterback-wise, you know, we continue to be better decision makers, and you know, we got to be advantageous in certain areas of the field. And the red zone, to have an interception when we're knocking on the door is unacceptable, and we'll make sure that gets corrected.
Back at the beginning of spring ball, you know, we talked with you and Coach Harsin about watching film on these guys. How much better of an idea do you have of the playmakers or your players' abilities simply by working out with them through spring ball now?
So much better of an idea, and that's really what spring ball is all about for a new staff in particular. You know, obviously implementing schemes and trying to get the guys to do exactly what we want them to do on every single play. And that's not easy to do, you know, especially with offensive football, and when you're throwing quite a bit at them. So, you know, but for us to be able to come out of it and know who our guys are that are playmakers was really encouraging. Now there's guys that are inconsistently making plays for us, and we need to see those guys, you know, in fall camp to be consistent playmakers.
Did you get what you wanted to out of the offense as a whole this spring?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think for you know, like we've all said, you know, anytime you come in and you bring in some new stuff, it's formationally and shifts and motions and concepts that are different. You know, you're going to slow them down a little bit, and that certainly happened early on, and at times it happened. Guys are thinking, but today, you know, I thought for the most part, I mean, there wasn't, you know, just tremendous lack of execution from the standpoint of alignment, you know, and assignment. But we'll watch the film. There'll be a lot of details we got to clean up. So, yes, I do think we got what we wanted to out of spring practice, but we're not where we need to be offensively. I will say I really do like the way that our defense plays, and that's a great challenge every day for us, man. Those guys are playing well up front, and you know, we got to get back to, you know, just knowing that we can move people off the football, you know, and that's the one thing that was at times lacked today is we weren't moving people, and that needs to become our identity, because everything else will open up off that.
Jake Rowe got a couple balls down the field, almost got a big one down the field. It seemed like this spring his name kept coming up.
Yeah, I really like Jake Rowe and just his versatility. You know, we had several guys, you know, at the previous place that I worked at that were similar to that, just Mr. Versatility, and obviously coming off a redshirt year, and for him to, you know, to have a better feel for playing his first college football and not just running off of scout cards was really impressive. So, you know, he did some nice things tonight, and we got to involve the tight end position, because once they all get here, once they're all healthy, all right, once the incoming freshmen arrive, that group's going to be one to be reckoned with. And you know, Coach Drinkwitz does an outstanding job with that group, and just motivating, inspiring those guys, and getting those guys to do exactly what we want them to do.
You seem like a really confident coaching staff. How much more confident are you after spring camp?
You know, I think we're more confident just because we as a coaching staff obviously came from different places. You know, coming together as a staff and creating that, you know, just our identity and what we want to be, and everybody knowing exactly how we want to coach things. There's a lot more confidence right now. There's no question about that. So, you know, we got to be, you know, we're confident, but we're also, you know, cautiously optimistic, because we know what kind of work it's going to take, and we know exactly you know, how much better we need to be for us to, you know, attain our goal, and that's to win a Mountain West Conference championship in a bowl game.
As you said, you know, when you got here, this quarterback situation was scary. It's gotten better, but probably still not where you would want it to be going into your first season. How do you assess kind of where you're at with those three guys?
Yeah, you know, today and throughout the course of spring ball, I've seen growth. You know, they're seeing growth because, you know, quite honestly, you know, when I got here in January, I knew that I had one quarterback to go through spring practice that was fully healthy. And that's a fifth-year senior, you know, and that's a situation that's not great to be in. But for you know, for Brian Finley to do what he did and learn, you know, basically through fire. Kid hasn't played any college football, you know, for quite some time, or, you know, football at all for quite some time. For him to go out there and not use his shoulder as a crutch and just battle through it was really impressive. And I like what that kid's doing. And Tommy, you know, as long as Tommy just, you know, takes care of the football, he made some progress too. So he's a guy that moves the ball down the field a little bit. You kind of feel, you know, his energy at times, and he came in there and moved the ball down the field on the first team defense, which was impressive. So both guys in the second half did a nice job of moving the ball.
Still got 4 months before you guys come back for fall camp. What's the message going to be to the offense and what they need to get done here the next 4 months?
Well, we got to hone our craft. We got to become experts. It's exactly what the coaches are telling them to do, what we want them to do. And then the other thing is, these guys have to work like crazy, in the summer to get stronger, to be more physical, and to just create a mindset and a mentality that we're not going to be stopped, in the running game. And clearly that'll help us in every other phase of what we do.
I was going to ask.
Downhill running game as your identity. How close to? Are you able to do that? Were you able to do that this spring? Were you able to establish that identity?
Not where I want to be, from a downhill running game standpoint. And I think, you had five offensive linemen that were playing together for the very first time, and a lot of those guys hadn't played much college football outside of scout cards. So, those two groups, the first group and the second group, they made a lot of progress, and I'm really impressed with what Coach Huff does in terms of teaching those guys because the learning curve was steep going into spring for those guys. So, we need to know exactly who those 5 guys are going to be. Obviously, when we get some of the guys back, off the injured reserve list, we'll have more of an identity in terms of who those 5 guys are. They'll start to gel pretty well.
It probably makes a difference when you can give Jay the ball 25 times instead of 5 or 6, right?
Yeah.
That's what the run game is going to look like.
No question. And, of course, with Jay, he's proven so much here. And we even today, we just wanted him to put his foot in the ground and get north, and he did that. And that was the challenge, going into the second half. And, he did some really good things. But he's a guy that, he's really special when he finishes runs and he has his pad level down. He's hard to bring down. He's got good vision. He's got great patience. And so he's gonna touch the ball a little bit more than he did in the spring game today. That's for sure.
And talking about another running back, Devon Dimas is a guy that's just kind of been able to make the most of his opportunities when he's got them in live action. What does he offer to that running back position? And when he was going down the sideline, it looked like that safety had an angle on him, but he was able to run right by it.
Devon Dimas, speed. Okay, Devon Dimas has speed and he catches the ball out of the backfield. All right, and that guy gets a crease, he's got a chance. And so that's a guy that we have to utilize. And that's an example of coming out of spring practice. We learned something more so about him, about what he can do, and that he's going to earn himself a role. He just continues in the current trajectory and just doing things the right way and being a home run threat for us because we need that.
I was going to ask you about the Statue of Liberty play too. Who dialed that up and did I know you guys made a big push for 20,000 fans. And that's a play that is synonymous with Bronco football.
Yeah, it was actually we were trying to get the Liberty to be the second play. And we didn't get it quite in time just from the hash standpoint, but it was fun to see it work, and we were tempted to have Coach Yates blitz the entire opposite side so we could run that thing to the house and this place would have erupted. I bet 8,000 more fans probably would have showed up, hit that 20, but yeah, I'll tell you what, it was fun to get, there was some stuff that we were able to do, some reverses, some things that were fun, some creative things that are going to be part of our identity, and we'll continue to explore those things and utilize that.
How much of the offense has been installed percentage-wise?
I'd say probably about 75%, and that's and that's from the standpoint of just the concepts, but we're gonna way less than that in terms of formationing things and shifting and motioning to them because at the end of the day you don't want guys just running all over the field before the pre-snap, and not having an idea exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And then of course we're gonna go out and research, study, and grind on tape and find out what other concepts we can implement. And that's the thing that Coach Harson's always been so good at. And, he called me multiple times when I was at Stanford and said, "Hey, what do you think about this deal?" And we talk football. And he's a guy that's all of us are going to be continuing to research the NFL, other successful college offenses, and see what else we can implement into our scheme. And you got to be on the cutting edge. You got to constantly be evolving.